Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is about food system issues and solutions in Huntsville, Alabama. And although this video focuses on Huntsville, a lot of the issues discussed are common in the United States and in the West. So this month we'll be focusing on food system issues, and I hope you can subscribe if you're really interested. So here we go.
Hey everyone, I'm Dan Meisner. I'm the Executive Director of Mycelium and a mechanical engineer.
Hey everyone, my name is Ankur, and I'm a recent graduate of Earth Science and Physics at the University of Alabama at Huntsville, and I'm the Director of Operations at Mycelium. We are located in Huntsville, Alabama, which is a beautiful city. It's currently the fourth largest city of Alabama, and it's rapidly urbanizing. Huntsville is also called the Star of Alabama, and it has a special nickname called the Rocket City.
I remember seeing signs out there on the road, welcome to Huntsville, Rocket City. And it truly was the Rocket City. When I was here a few weeks working with my boss there in the laboratory, he said, come on outside, they're going to fire the engines. First stage of the Saturn V had the big 5.5 million pound thrust each engines. So that's 7.5 million pounds of thrust. And we were not that far away, maybe a mile away. And boy, that was quite an experience to have that, to see that propulsion testing going on.
Despite being a highly technical city, Huntsville's food system faces numerous challenges. One of them is obesity. About a third of the population of Huntsville is obese, and this is a similar problem to the entire United States. The Southern diet is very high in added fats, fried food, sugar-sweetened beverages, and processed meats. Food is at the base of our civilization. It's integral to society. But it's amazing how little we think about the very things we put inside our bodies. In Huntsville, we have the problem of non-local foods. Many foods are transported from more than 1,000 miles away and sold in supermarkets, just like many places in the US. We have foods coming from places like California, Mexico, New Zealand, Italy, Thailand, right into Huntsville. And this leads to a very unsustainable food production system. Secondly, we have excessive amount of lawns and backyards in neighborhoods of Huntsville.
The American lawns can grow a lot of food. American lawns are wasted space. Lawn upkeep is bad for the environment. Lawn upkeep is a waste of time and resources. Lawn upkeep is terrible, in my opinion.
We have rising urbanization. Huntsville is a fast-growing city, one of the fastest in Alabama.
If you think about Huntsville's past, you had the era in the late 50s and most of the 60s where we, for all intents and purposes, quadrupled in population in roughly a decade. That was fairly substantial growth. We're probably not looking at something in that order, but something still fairly large. You're looking at, depending on your estimates, between 15 and 25,000 new jobs in the near future. Being able to accommodate that level of growth is probably the biggest challenge. That will manifest itself in terms of demand for housing, demand for goods and services, and pressure on our transportation network.
The Food Bank of North Alabama has a mission that is twofold. We serve people who are hungry today, and we work towards solutions to end hunger tomorrow. We have one program that is to serve the latter half of the mission, which is about hunger solutions, and that's the Farm Food Collaborative. Our goal since then and continuing is to increase market share for all of our small and mid-sized family farmers, and that means getting them into grocery stores, restaurants, schools, daycares, preschools, any kind of commercial market that is already buying wholesale food. We want to make sure that they have at least some of their budget set aside for locally grown fruits and vegetables whenever possible. So we try to work that in.
Huntsville also in other cities should look more at encouraging community gardens. Community gardens. There's a lot of space that's unutilized that could be converted into community gardens. Whether it's some lot somewhere that's not being utilized, maybe the cities could buy a few of these lots and turn them into community gardens. The rooftops of a lot of your old buildings. We used to have some malls we've just torn down. They could have grown a lot of stuff in those malls instead of tearing them down. And we put a lot of money into tearing a lot of this stuff down that could have been repurposed in a productive manner.
Madison County is very much an agricultural county. It has that agricultural history. But even agriculture is changing. What we grow and how we grow it is changing. And as cities urbanize, it's important to make sure that we still have the partnership with the rural areas to source our agriculture. But there are also a lot of opportunities to reintroduce agriculture into the urban core. That doesn't mean necessarily taking down a strip mall and replanting it as a field. It could be getting into things like hydroponics or aquaponics, all the different sort of technological approaches to growing food, I think can start to be introduced into our core. And that goes to, really a root planning principle, which is diversifying your land uses, creating a lot of different things, a lot of different uses in a small area.
We want to make sure that our tiniest eaters start getting introduced to this idea as soon as possible. How do things grow? What do they taste like? What do they feel like? And so, in 30 years, these kiddos are going to be adults and they're going to be, shaping what our food culture is. Mm-hmm. So the more impact we can make now, the better. So that has been a really exciting thing. And we're at, 9 sites now? Mm-hmm. So 9 daycares and preschools in North Alabama are now getting regular access to fresh, locally grown fruits and vegetables who have never purchased locally before. Yeah. So, that's a huge deal.
You have so many creative, tech-oriented minds that can kind of bring that to bear, figure out, how can you grow more with less resources? How do you use your energy more intelligently in serving that agriculture? And really, how can you diversify the food offerings? Instead of some field of only one crop, you could in theory have this sort of internal warehouse filled with multiple different kinds of foodstuffs, and you can start to get very specialized. And I think that technology, it sounds a little cultish sometimes, the sort of worshiping of technology, but there's a lot of opportunity there, and we have a lot of very smart people here. We get locked into the idea that this is really just sort of a DoD and NASA town. But engineering is inherently about problem solving, right? This is just another problem. This is just another challenge that you can take that engineering brain and swivel it and say, hey, let's talk about creative ways to grow strawberries. Let's talk about creative ways to introduce fresh food that you normally can't get here. In terms of agriculture, again, I think if you were reintroducing agriculture into the core and you're starting to decentralize it, then inherently just reducing that distance between production and consumer can help make those sorts of things more affordable.
Thank you so much for watching. This month we'll be focusing on food systems, so please subscribe if you're interested. I have attached the links to Mycelium NGO so you can check out our work and the food system vision in the descriptions below. So I hope to see you next time, and goodbye until then.